they
Right.
hear hunters, trail riders, Western, but show jumping is one of the 3 Olympic disciplines, and you essentially try and complete a course without knocking any rails down and going as fast as possible.
Being the daughter of one of the world's most powerful billionaires might come with lots of perks, but it also means constant scrutiny. Every little thing, from career choices to relationships, gets picked apart by the public. For Bill Gates' daughter, the pressure has been especially tough over the years. Rumors about her marriage have flown around, and speculation on what's really going on behind closed doors has only grown. Now, at 28, she's finally speaking out with a deeply emotional revelation that has shocked many. In this video, we uncover the truth behind her tearful confession, the struggles she's had with her husband, and what this means for her future. Before the headlines, the lavish $2 million wedding, the baby photos, and the Olympic controversies, Jennifer Gates lived her life in the shadow of a massive empire. Born on April 26, 1996, to Bill and Melinda Gates, the eldest daughter of one of the world's most famous billionaires, seemed destined for a life mapped out by that legacy. But as a child, Jennifer was already crafting her own path. While the world focused on her father's tech achievements and philanthropic work, Jennifer found peace at the stables, heading there whenever she could. Her childhood wasn't spent under the spotlight of Silicon Valley meetings, but instead in the saddle, perfecting her riding skills under the guidance of experienced trainers. Horses weren't just a hobby. They were her escape from the huge expectations tied to her last name. This was probably the first sign that Jennifer Gates was going to follow her own unique journey. The world expected her to take the reins of tech empires or lead major foundations, but instead, she found herself chasing ribbons in equestrian competitions and quietly enrolling at Stanford University to study human biology. It seemed like, for once, her passion, not her family's wealth, was guiding her future. But fate has a way of intervening when you least expect it. It was at Stanford, on an ordinary afternoon near the university's equestrian facilities, that Jennifer first heard the name Nael Nasar. He was another writer, an economics graduate, and unexpectedly, he would turn her world upside down, challenging everything she thought she knew about control, ambition, and balancing love with legacy. At first, they were just casual acquaintances, exchanging small nods in passing at the stables, connected through mutual friends. Nael was 5 years older, born in Chicago, but raised in Kuwait before moving back to the US. His background was as intricate as the horses they rode. Unlike Jennifer, he didn't have a globally recognized surname or a massive fortune waiting for him, just the weight of his parents' entrepreneurial expectations and his own intense drive for success in show jumping. Still, there was something about him that felt familiar. Maybe it was the early mornings they both spent mucking out stalls before class, or those tired, shared glances after tough rides when all pretense fell away. Whatever it was, Jennifer found herself hanging around longer after practice, her heart racing for reasons that had nothing to do with competition. Stanford might have been where their paths crossed, but it was the horse barn where the real connection began. Surrounded by the scent of hay and leather, the daughter of one of the wealthiest men in the world found an unexpected equal in Nael, and over time, something even rarer, a partner who saw her not just as an heiress, but as simply Jennifer. He saw her for who she truly was, yet as their relationship grew, whispers began to surface. People close to Jennifer started to have their doubts. According to Rumours, a friend once bluntly said over dinner, "I can't stand him." The same suspicions that often follow the rich and famous began to creep into the minds of those around her. Was he after her fortune, her name, her fame? Jennifer brushed off the comment, but a seed of doubt had already been planted. Could a love story between two people from such different worlds really survive the constant public scrutiny? As it turns out, the answer was just beginning to unfold. By January 2017, the friendship between Jennifer Gates and Nael Nasar had evolved into something undeniable. They were no longer just two students swapping notes on show jumping techniques. They were a couple, inseparable on campus, photographed at competitions from California to Europe, and slowly becoming permanent fixtures in each other's lives. For Jennifer, this was all new territory. Balancing medical school requirements with the unspoken judgment that came with her family name was already exhausting enough. Now, she had the added pressure of shielding her growing relationship from the relentless eye of the public. And of course, there was no shortage of speculation. To some, Nael was the charming, grounded athlete with a remarkable resume. Stanford graduate, international competitor, fluent in 3 languages, and a member of the prestigious Paris Panthers show jumping team. To others, he was seen as an outsider, daring to marry into a global empire. But behind closed doors, their connection was much simpler. Jennifer and Nael thrived on shared passions and mutual support. When Jennifer's coursework became overwhelming, Nael's steady calm helped her get through it. When Nael faced the pressure of representing Egypt on the international equestrian stage, Jennifer was his biggest cheerleader, always there at competitions, rain or shine. Their relationship wasn't about glitz and glamour. It was built on grit. Late nights studying, early mornings training, weekend flights squeezed between competitions and exams, and most importantly, the knowledge that their bond ran deeper than what outsiders saw. Still, cracks occasionally appeared beneath the surface. Their cross-cultural romance, though beautiful, came with complexities they couldn't ignore. Questions about religion, tradition, and future children began to surface. Would Jennifer, raised in a mostly Christian household, convert to Islam? Would their wedding merge Egyptian customs with Western expectations? Could 2 worlds so different on paper really blend seamlessly in practice? By 2019, speculation had given way to a sense of inevitability. The couple's public appearances became more frequent, their travels more intertwined. When they stood together at philanthropic galas or Stanford alumni events, it was clear they were becoming a power couple. In January 2020, at a snow-dusted ski resort, Nael proposed. According to those close to them, Jennifer's response, shared on Instagram, was as heartfelt as it was definitive. Yes, 1,000,000 times over. The world responded in kind, with headlines calling it a fairy tale romance, a billionaire's daughter, an Olympic equestrian, a love story crossing continents and cultures. But as wedding plans began, so did the rumblings of doubt. High society, as always, couldn't help but ask the tough questions. Was this truly love, or just another chapter in the public drama of wealth and influence? Despite the whispers, Jennifer and Nael moved forward, undeterred. Their next step wouldn't just prove their commitment to each other, it would test whether their private love could survive on the most public stage of all, a $2 million wedding, like no other. By the time October 16, 2021 rolled around, the quiet rural roads of North Salem, New York, had transformed into a high-security zone. The buzz around Jennifer Gates's wedding had been building for months, and according to local reports, authorities closed off the surrounding area as convoys of SUVs brought nearly 300 high-profile guests to the gates of the family's sprawling 24-acre estate. Residents who peeked from a distance described the event as nothing short of a royal wedding, with one local commenting, "This is our royalty. Royalty equals money." Sources close to the Gates family confirmed that no expense was spared. Event planners involved in the preparation revealed that the estate had been under construction for weeks, with extravagant glass pavilions, botanical displays, and private stages rising from the serene horse pastures. Workers even transported truckloads of fresh hydrangeas, while pastry chefs from the French bakery, Lair, carefully delivered a minimalist 2-tiered wedding cake that insiders said was simple in design but indulgent in taste. But beyond the grandeur, those who were there recalled the wedding as a delicate balancing act between 2 vastly different cultural traditions. The night before the highly publicized ceremony, Jennifer and Nael exchanged vows in a private al-Kitab, a traditional Islamic marriage ritual. According to those who attended, the ceremony was intimate, attended only by close family members, including Bill and Melinda Gates, who made their first joint public appearance since finalizing their divorce just months earlier. Observers described Jennifer as wearing a simple ankle-length halter dress, while Nael was in formal attire, in keeping with tradition. For Jennifer, who isn't Muslim, it was a chance to publicly honor Nael's Egyptian roots and his faith. One guest described the atmosphere as serene and deeply respectful, emphasizing how thoughtfully both families had worked to merge their customs. The following day's main event stunned even those who had seen their fair share of high-profile weddings. Guests, including well-known names from business, philanthropy, and sports, gathered under a foliage-covered arch, facing rows of white chairs placed with military precision. Bill Gates, according to those present, walked his daughter down the aisle alongside Melinda. Later, a father-daughter dance reportedly moved many to tears. One attendee shared that Bill whispered words of encouragement to Jennifer as they swayed under the soft glow of lantern lights. A private moment amidst the global spotlight, one they would both remember forever. The music, sources say, was as carefully selected as the floral arrangements. Coldplay performed a set that one guest described as the soundtrack to a dream, followed by folk singer Harry Hudson, who played acoustic songs reflecting the simplicity and sincerity of the couple's relationship. Guests described the evening as a blend of spectacle and intimacy, mixing the grandeur expected of a Gates wedding with the personal touches that defined Jennifer and Nael's shared story. However, not all reactions from the local community were positive. Some local residents saw the lavish event as excessive. "It's over the top," remarked one nearby homeowner, criticizing the construction of the temporary glass pavilions and the disruption it caused to the otherwise peaceful neighborhood. Others, however, felt differently. "Everybody should have a great wedding," one local investor was quoted as saying. "This is high-quality construction, you can tell." Behind the scenes, the pressure was immense. Coordinating a multi-faith, multicultural event with tight security during the lingering shadow of the pandemic was a logistical marathon. COVID-19 testing kits were seen being delivered by the boxful, and the catering team worked seamlessly to ensure every detail unfolded without a hitch. And yet, insiders close to the family hinted that the true test was only just beginning. A family grows under pressure. In the months following the fairy tale wedding of Jennifer Gates and Nael Nasar, the glow started to fade. Not due to scandal or regret, but because real life quickly demanded their full attention. For Jennifer, the shift was immediate. She was juggling her intense coursework at the Icahn School of Medicine at Mount Sinai, all while adjusting to married life under the unrelenting gaze of the media. The honeymoon phase was brief. What had been nights of celebration quickly turned into nights of studying, with Jennifer often finding herself at the hospital before dawn, preparing for grueling rotations. By March 2023, Jennifer and Nael welcomed their first child, a daughter named Lila, an Arabic name chosen to honor Nael's Egyptian roots. The announcement, a simple photo of Lila's tiny hand wrapped around Jennifer's finger, sparked waves of public adoration. However, inside their New York City apartment, the reality was more complicated. Jennifer opened up in interviews about the challenge of balancing motherhood with medicine. "It felt like I was juggling a dozen fragile glasses," she admitted. "One wrong move, and everything could shatter. But despite the challenges, they made it work." Their partnership, once driven by dreams of Olympic medals and medical degrees, deepened into something far more tender. Jennifer found comfort in watching Nael cradle Lila after long days of training, while Nael took pride in Jennifer's unwavering commitment to her patients, even when exhaustion threatened to overtake her. Yet, public curiosity only grew. How would they navigate raising a child with such different cultural backgrounds? Would Lila grow up Christian, Muslim, or some blend of both? For now, Jennifer remained diplomatic. "We're figuring it out as we go," she said. "There's no manual for this, just love and respect." In October 2024, on their third wedding anniversary, the couple announced the birth of their second daughter, Mia. The timing felt poetic, a full-circle moment that transformed their anniversary into a family milestone. Bill and Melinda, now fully settled into their roles as grandparents, shared their own tributes online, posting candid snapshots of playtime with their granddaughters. However, even as the family grew, the pressures remained constant. Jennifer's residency schedule became even more demanding, while Nael's competitions took him across the globe. Lila napped in her stroller at horse shows, and Mia giggled at the family dog. This wasn't the life most would imagine for the daughter of Bill Gates. It wasn't flawless, it wasn't effortless, but it was real. Still, the whispers never fully faded. Those old doubts, ones that first emerged at Stanford, found new fuel. Could Nael really handle the weight of being part of the Gates dynasty? Was Jennifer sacrificing too much too soon? Would the pressure eventually break what they had built? For now, the answers remained unclear. But as 2024 drew to a close, a new challenge loomed. One that would test their marriage, their reputations, and their resolve. And it would begin in Paris. The Paris Olympics controversy of 2024 took a dramatic turn as the eyes of the world turned to the French capital. For Nael, it was meant to be the pinnacle of his career, a chance to secure Egypt's first Olympic equestrian medal. Years of training had led to this moment. But just as the opening ceremony approached, a different spotlight found him, and it was far less forgiving. The rumors began quietly. Leaked documents circulated on social media, allegedly showing extravagant costs related to Nael's Olympic preparations, lavish accommodations, a sizable support team, and chartered flights. Whispers spread that the Egyptian government was covering the bill, a decision that didn't sit well in a country grappling with economic hardship. Critics were quick to pounce. Online forums erupted with questions like, why does he need a 10-person entourage? Why should ordinary Egyptians fund a billionaire's son-in-law? The narrative quickly spiraled out of control. Nael, once the pride of Egyptian equestrian sport, became the face of perceived excess. Headlines blurred fact from speculation. And in New York, Jennifer Gates found herself watching the chaos unfold from thousands of miles away. The scrutiny bled into her carefully protected world. Within days, the Egyptian Equestrian Federation issued a sharp rebuttal. No state funds were being used. Nael and his sponsors, chiefly Evergate Stables, the elite training operation he co-managed, were covering all expenses, including travel for family members, including Jennifer and the Gates family, who were also paying their own way. But the damage was done. In the midst of the storm, Jennifer posted a subtle yet deliberate message on Instagram. The horse's welfare always comes first. It was a quiet reminder that beneath the noise, their focus remained on the animals, the sport, and the integrity of competition. She shared Nael's full statement, emphasizing transparency and fairness, but the whispers never fully faded. Then, as if fate demanded one final twist, disaster struck. Just days before Nael was set to compete, his prized horse sustained a minor injury during a practice round, forcing an immediate withdrawal from the Olympics. What should have been his career-defining moment ended in silence. His name was now tangled in controversy and disappointment. For Jennifer, watching from the sidelines, the unraveling felt deeply personal. They had sacrificed so much, time, energy, privacy, to build this life together. And just like that, the world reduced them to headlines and hashtags. It was, in many ways, a breaking point, one that Jennifer didn't publicly address until months later. When she finally did, the admission came quietly in an interview that no one expected. For the first time, the heir to one of the world's greatest fortunes allowed the mask to slip, and the truth was far more human than anyone could have imagined. At 28, Bill Gates' daughter finally broke. In an interview with Sidelines magazine, intended to discuss Jennifer's dual passions for medicine and equestrianism, the conversation took an unexpected turn. As sources close to Jennifer described, what unfolded that day was far more than anyone anticipated. The interview, which began unassumingly, shifted from medical school challenges to family life. Then the interviewer asked a simple, seemingly innocuous question. How do you manage it all? That's when, according to those present, Jennifer's composure cracked. She paused, and then the tears came. Not dramatic, not performative, just honest. Sometimes I feel like I'm juggling a dozen fragile glasses at once, she confessed. And the truth is, sometimes they drop. For the first time publicly, Jennifer opened up about the unseen weight she had been carrying. Balancing the expectations of being a Gates, navigating the pressures of an interfaith, intercultural marriage, managing the relentless grind of medical training, and raising two small children, all under the unforgiving scrutiny of the global media. But what most surprised listeners was what she revealed next. According to the interview transcript, Jennifer admitted that even within her marriage, there had been challenges far more complex than the public realized. "Nael is my greatest support," she said. "But that doesn't mean it's always easy. There are moments when our differences feel enormous. We come from different worlds, different faiths, different childhoods, and sometimes we clash." One friend close to the family elaborated privately, saying there was real doubt at times. Cultural expectations, family pressures, and the fact that they're constantly under observation. It's intense. Reflecting on her parents' high-profile divorce, Jennifer admitted in the same interview, "I saw in them that love changes over time, and I think that's okay, as long as you're both willing to change with it." As for Nael, Jennifer credited him with helping her find balance. "He reminds me to believe in myself when I forget. When I'm overwhelmed, he's the steady hand." Yet she didn't shy away from acknowledging the toll their lifestyle had taken. "We've had some really hard conversations about who we are, how we raise our daughter, and what traditions we pass down. And the truth is, we're figuring it out as we go." Social media soon exploded with reactions to her vulnerability. Candid images appeared. Layla laughing beside a family dog, Nael tending to a horse after a competition, Jennifer's cluttered desk stacked with medical texts and baby bottles. For the first time, people saw beyond the surface of the Gates name. They saw a woman at 28, trying to hold everything together and bravely admitting that sometimes she couldn't. As for what's next, sources say Jennifer is already laying the groundwork for her next chapter. Recent cryptic posts have hinted at a forthcoming project that combines her medical expertise with educational outreach, possibly a nonprofit or scholarship initiative aimed at training future caregivers. Nael, meanwhile, is reportedly doubling down on his Olympic ambitions, setting his sights on future international competitions and continuing his work at Evergate Stables. Together, they remain a couple that defies easy categorization. They are not merely the sum of their wealth or their last names, but as those closest to them describe, two individuals bound by love, ambition, and an unrelenting desire to forge their own path. And as Jennifer Gates finally allowed the world a glimpse behind the carefully maintained curtain, it became clear that the real story was never just about a fairy tale wedding or a billion-dollar legacy. It was, and always has been, about the quiet resilience of a woman who, at 28, finally broke in tears, and in doing so, revealed the profound, complicated truth about her husband, her family, and herself. What do you think really goes on behind the scenes of high-profile marriages like Jennifer Gates and Nael Nasar's? Can true love withstand the constant pressure of public attention, expectations, and family legacy? It's not every day that someone from such a well-known family opens up in such an emotional and honest way. Would you have responded the same if you were in Jennifer's shoes? Let us know in the comments. Thanks for tuning in, and be sure to join us again for more fascinating stories.